The Houston Texans are far from having everything figured out for the 2025 season. In recent weeks, two moves have caught attention, one that could directly impact the defense and another that exposes a recurring concern on offense. And if you think the roster is already set, you might be mistaken. There are big-name free agents available on the market and moves on the horizon for the upcoming draft that raise a yellow flag about an essential position. Before diving into these two pieces of information that could change the course of the Texans season, make sure to give a like to this video and subscribe to the channel. This helps the channel grow and shows YouTube that the content is relevant to you and the entire Texans Nation. The first piece of news revolves around veteran cornerback Rasul Douglas, a name that, although no longer at his peak, still generates conversations among analysts and NFL insiders. At 29 years old and about to turn 30, Douglas is currently a free agent, and according to ESPN and other specialized outlets, he would be a valuable addition to the Houston Texans roster. This is especially true following the unexpected retirement of Ronald Darby, which left a depth gap at the cornerback position. Douglas is a player with a solid resume. A Super Bowl champion with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2017, he has played for 7 franchises in 8 years, including stints with the Panthers, Packers, and most recently, the Bills. Even though his last year in Buffalo was statistically the worst of his career, with 72.9% of passes completed against him when targeted, and the second worst rating of his career according to Pro Football Focus, there is still value in his name. Douglas's versatility to play both inside and outside appeals to coaching staffs of teams that need flexibility in their defensive schemes. DeMeco Ryans, the Texans head coach, prioritizes defensive schemes with multiple formations and alternation between zone and man coverage. Douglas could serve as a complementary piece, not necessarily a guaranteed starter, to support Derek Stingley Jr. and rookie Kamari Lassiter, who are expected to be the main names on the field sides. And this could make all the difference in an increasingly aerial league. It's worth noting that the Texans led the NFL in pass completion percentage allowed last season, with only 58.3%. This shows that the unit is efficient, but also extremely dependent on the health of its starters. With Darby's departure and a young roster, bringing in a veteran like Douglas could be the difference between maintaining consistency or watching the secondary become a long-term issue. Financially, the signing is feasible. With around $15.2 million available in cap space, Houston has room to offer a short contract, possibly even with performance clauses. Douglas ended his last 3-year deal worth $21 million, with a total of $24 million earned in his career. At 30 years old, he may be more interested in stability and a real chance to compete, and the current Texans project offers exactly that. His physical presence is also a differentiator. Douglas stands 6'2", making him the tallest corner on the roster, to face wide receivers like Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, and Stefon Diggs throughout the season. Size and experience matter. It's no coincidence that Douglas's name has been mentioned by Aaron Schatz from ESPN, Pat McAfee, and other analysts. The message is clear. If Houston wants to keep its defense among the best, they need depth, and that can't be solved just with youth and potential. The arrival of Damon Arnett, former Raiders player and standout in the UFL with the Roughnecks, is a good move, but it doesn't fill the hole left by Darby. Additionally, Jalen Smith, a third-round pick from last draft, is still a developing prospect. Therefore, the possibility of Douglas being signed isn't just an out-of-the-blue speculation. It's a strategic necessity that could weigh in during the early weeks of training camp, especially if injuries arise. And if the Texans don't act, someone else will. The market isn't stagnant, and with each passing day leading up to the start of training, the value of veterans like Douglas increases. As Ian Rappaport said, the bargaining power of free agents arrives before training camp. The question is, will Houston wait for the need to knock on their door, or will they anticipate the problem? And while the defense may gain an experienced piece in the coming weeks, the offense continues to be a cause for concern. Even after a heavy overhaul of the offensive line, last year's numbers still scream for reinforcement. And if draft projections are any indication, this story is far from over. The name currently in the spotlight is Austin Barber, left tackle from the University of Florida, who appeared as a pick for the Houston Texans in the first-round projection of the 2026 draft made by Matt Miller from ESPN. That's right, after heavily investing in the offensive line this offseason, the Texans are still seen as candidates to select another offensive tackle in the first round. And that says a lot about the current reality. Barber stands 6'6", weighs 312 pounds, and is considered one of the most solid and safe prospects prospects in the class. A complete athlete with refined technique and pass protection and enough mobility for zone running schemes. Exactly the profile that Bobby Slowick, the Texans offensive coordinator, prioritizes. He started 12 games last collegiate season as LT and received praise for his intelligence and understanding of the game. But the real question here is, why are the Texans still projected to invest heavily in the OL if the offseason has already brought names like Cam Robinson and Trent Brown, along with second-round pick Ariante Ursery? The answer may lie in the lack of total conviction in who will protect the franchise's main asset, CJ Stroud. Stroud was the name of last season. He played all 17 regular season games, led the Texans to the playoffs, and shined as the offensive rookie of the year. But he paid the price. There were 52 sacks taken in the regular season and 11 more in the playoffs, 8 of which came during the massacre against the Chiefs in the divisional round. In total, 63 sacks, an absolutely alarming number. And even with the investment in Ursery, doubts arise as to whether he will be the LT of the future or if his physique, 6'6", 330 pounds, indicates better adaptation to the right side of the line. The truth is that he may be more of a versatile piece than a definitive anchor, and it's precisely this uncertainty that keeps the possibility of Barber open. Additionally, Laramie Tunsil, the former keystone of Stroud's protection, was traded to the Washington Commanders. Without him, the line loses not only elite talent, but also a leader. Cam Robinson may hold the position for now, but has a history of injuries and inconsistency. Trent Brown is a veteran with a winning resume, but he is also prone to fluctuations, both physically and in commitment. In other words, even with several options on the roster, none of them currently offer the long-term security that the franchise needs to protect a quarterback who may receive a multi-million-dollar extension as soon as 2026. Barber's projection in the draft is a direct reflection of this doubt. Moreover, it suggests that the Texans might take a step back this year, since the mock has them at the 21st position, meaning they're outside the elite this season. The move may not be immediate, but the message is clear. The franchise's long-term plan involves heavily investing in the OL until 2 reliable tackles are found, and Barber, even still as a hypothesis, is already on the radar as a potential final piece of this construction. The draft is still far away, but this type of projection shows that, despite a busy offseason, the Texans' offensive line problem has not been completely resolved. The truth is that the Texans are walking a tightrope. On one side, the defense shows consistency, but urgently needs targeted reinforcement, and Rasul Douglas would be a smart choice if the front office wants to prevent problems, rather than just react to them. On the other side, the offense has a gem in CJ Stroud, but is failing miserably in its most basic mission: protecting him. And it's no use thinking about titles if the quarterback is getting hit 60 times a season. The front office is aware of the problems, but are they being agile enough to solve them? So fans, would you bring in Rasul Douglas now, or would you wait for an injury to act? And regarding the offensive line, are Ursery, Cam Robinson, or Trent Brown sufficient, or should Barber already be on the radar? Leave your opinion in the comments, like the video if you enjoyed the analysis, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more exclusive Texans content. Here we analyze seriously, provoke with arguments, and always play fair with the fans. See you next time.